In Pit Lane, proudly brought to you by Online Invent, websites, digital marketing, and custom software. Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new series of In Pit Lane here on Channel 31 on CTV Plus around Australia and of course the In Pit Lane YouTube channel. Well, as you can see, we're still in the corporate headquarters of In Pit Lane here in Beyond the Suburban Curtain, but we can start off with some really good news because next week, after almost a 2-year break, we're finally getting back into the studios at RMITV Student Television in the heart of Grand Prix City, Melbourne, for a genuine old-fashioned episode of In Pit Lane. We're going to be back in the studio. Doc's going to be here. Pete's going to be here. Everybody's going to be here. We'll have live music. We'll have guests. It's going to be fantastic. I'd tell you about how fantastic it was, but we simply don't have time. It has been a big weekend of motorsport. We're going to get to that in a moment. But also coming up a little bit later in the special edition of In Pit Lane, we're going to take you back down to Phillip Island from a couple of weeks ago. Phillip Island Auto Racing Club, PIARC, celebrates 70 years this year, and they started the year off with the Phillip Island Super Sprint, and a feature of that Super Sprint was a rare visit to Victoria of the RX8 Cup, and we're going to take you to highlights of the first race of the first round of the RX8 Cup a little bit later on in the program. But right now, as I said, with hand on heart, it was a big, big week of motorsport, and we're going to catch up with it right now on the In Pit Lane Motorsport News. New Zealand's Scot McLaughlin held off a hard-charging Alex Palou to win his first ever Indycar race on the streets of St. Petersburg in Florida. The 3-time Australian supercar champion was the class of the field, starting from pole and leading all the way for his maiden victory.
Oh, thank you to Roger Penske, everyone that put the... Oh, my butt's getting burnt. Hang on. Oh, that hurt. On the exhaust. Yeah, Dex Imaging jumping on board, trusting me, and then Roger Penske and Tim Sidgwick giving me the opportunity to come here. I miss my mum and dad dearly and my family, but wish you guys are here. What a day. I'm out of breath, man. Hey, give me a sec.
The situation that we had, getting that yellow to the worst possible time for us.
How hard did you have to fight in behind the wheel?
Oh, man, it's crazy. Really struggled those last couple of laps just to keep my head and save the fuel and all that sort of stuff, but we did it. Chevy gave us the fuel mileage. Drivability this weekend has been a change, and to win at Dex Imaging's home race, it's unreal. Oh my God, I'm just... Love you, Australia, New Zealand, miss you guys, thinking of everyone in the Queensland floods at the moment. I can't believe it.
McLaughlin's Penske teammate Will Power was third, making it a pretty good day for Roger Penske, Chevrolet and Australasia. Despite the tight confines of the St. Petersburg circuit, there was only one full-course yellow when Dale Coyne Racing's David Malukas hit the wall on lap 25. It was a good weekend for Antipodeans in St. Pete with a win to Matthew Brabham in Indy Lights. Matthew took the lead with only 2 laps remaining after his Andretti teammate Christian Rasmussen ran out of fuel. New Zealand driver Hunter McElrea started from pole in the race and led early but crashed out on lap 13 after hitting the wall. Well, the new for 22 Formula 1 cars have hit the track for the first time this year with a pre-season hit out at Barcelona. Although little more than a shakedown before the official pre-season test, the 3 days on track showed the potential of the new cars. A number of drivers said it appeared to be easier to follow closer behind another car, but that doesn't necessarily mean that overtaking is going to be any easier. For what it's worth, it was Lewis Hamilton who ended the day fastest, ahead of new teammate George Russell in a Mercedes 1-2. With the Red Bull of Sergio Perez in third, it's already clear that the established pecking order in F1 will remain. But it was an encouraging test for both McLaren and Ferrari, with Lando Norris 4th fastest ahead of Charles Leclerc. Daniel Ricciardo was 10th fastest, the Australian driver looking forward to the challenge of the new car and his second year at McLaren.
So I think 2022 is exciting. I think it's exciting for us drivers, it's exciting for the teams, for the fans. I think there's going to be a lot of, scope to bunch the field up, for us at McLaren, to get another step closer to more consistent podiums or wins, or ultimately to fight for a title one day. I think we can, with everything going on with the regulations, it does give us a good chance, as it does many other teams. So I'm looking forward to a tighter field, more wheel-to-wheel racing, more rivalries, all of it. Can't wait.
The official pre-season test gets underway in Bahrain on March 10th to the 12th. Local driver Jordan Sidney has won the opening round of the National Formula Ford Championship held at Sandown last weekend. Sidney won the first 2 races before a close second to Cody Donald in the weekend's feature race. Veteran driver Richard Davison warmed up for the upcoming Phillip Island Historic Classic with an overall win in the Kent Engine class. After looking under threat for several years, it seems Formula Ford's having something of a revival, helped no doubt by a major change of heart and mind by the sport's governing body Motorsport Australia. There was a big field at Sandown with more entries still to come, so why the sudden increase in interest? I asked Formula Ford President Phil Marion about the recent decisions made by Motorsport Australia and what effect that might have on the future of the category.
After several meetings with Motorsport Australia, the Formula Ford Association Committee agreed to the concept of the new car, and as a result of that agreement, we're now going forward and we'll just see how the car develops, and that's really with the technical group, and they're working through that process to come up with the final concept. Well, it's actually going to retain a lot of the current aspects. It won't be wings and slicks assisted. It will be much the same sort of concept, and really just improving the safety aspects. They may also look at different gearboxes to cut costs, and these are all things that really need to be done and bring the car up to a more current spec.
Robert Hight continued his perfect start to the NHRA drag racing season with his second straight victory in funny car at the Arizona Nationals. Hight went 383 at 531.71 kilometres per hour to beat number 1 qualifier Matt Hagan. Mike Salinas grabbed an impressive top fuel victory to knock off Clay Millican in the final round. It gives Salinas his 4th career victory, also the 2nd in the last 5 races to give him the championship points lead. Aaron Stanfield made his 2nd straight start in the Pro Stock final round, this time going on to a win over teammate Troy Coughlin Jr. Kyle Larson came from the rear of the field to win the latest NASCAR round at the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana. Larson led the way when the race was restarted for the final time with 4 laps remaining. He'd started from the rear due to a technical issue. Tyler Reddick won both stages of the race, but a flat tyre in contact with William Byron on lap 152 put him out of contention. Austin Dillon made a charge into 2nd place with 2 laps to go, but he was never close enough to mount any serious challenge to Larson. Eric Jones finished 3rd. And this weekend sees the return of the famous Geelong sprints to the foreshore on Eastern Beach. A huge entry of cars and bikes from the earliest days of the sport through to modern classics will race over the curved quarter mile. The event is just one part of a massive Geelong Revival Festival with car and bike shows, classic fashions, food vans and live music. It's going to be a big weekend for Geelong as Friday night sees the Foo Fighters in concert at Cardinia Park, with the Nitro Circus rolling into the same venue on Monday. And that, dear friends, is the In Pit Lane news for Tuesday, March the 1st, 2022. We'll have more news next week. Yes, fabulous news there about Scotty McLaughlin, also Matthew Brabham as well, 2 friends of the program, two of the really nice guys in the sport, and we really do. Was great to wake up on Monday morning to get that news. Well, we're going to take a break now, but when we come back straight after this break, we're going to take you down to Phillip Island for Race 1, Round 1 of the 2022 RX8 Cup. This is In Pit Lane. Don't go away. We're back, and we'll be back after this break.
Get the phone ringing for your business with website development and SEO services from Online Invent. Visit onlineinvent.com.au.
Welcome back to In Pit Lane. Well, the New South Wales-based RX8 Cup made a rare visit to Victoria recently for 4 races at the Pyark Super Sprint meeting. We're going to take you back there now to catch up with the first race of the weekend. And the cars are coming around for the start of the first race of the day here at the Phillip Island Super Sprint. It's race 1 of round 1 of the RX8 Cup. And starting out on pole is Tom Shaw ahead of Justin Barnes. Then comes Matthew Chick. Jack Penachia is in position number 4 ahead of Thomas Duncan. Shannon McLean is next, then Lachlan O'Hara, Aidan Riley, Terry Lewis and Jake Lauer. And the rest of the field, Luke Webber, then Ben Shaw, Jason Noakes, Elliot Maloof, Andrew O'Keefe, no, not that one, Miles Briggle-Julio, hope I got that right, Jerome Niabecki, Stacey Vickers, Mark Alder, and Mion Niabecki, and rounding out our top 21 will be Macy Place. So 21 great Mazda RX-8s heading around at a very, very windy Phillip Island. Looks like we have everybody in place now and we're just about ready for a start. So the green flag will be waved in a second and we'll be ready to race. In fact, the 5-second board has gone up. And there you can see the green flag in the background, the marshal moving out of the road, and we're ready to start the RX8 Cup, and the lights are out and we're racing here at Phillip Island. And we're on board now in the car of pole sitter Tom Shaw, but you can see he's been jumped at the start by Justin Barnes, and Barnes is going to lead them down into Doohan Corner for the first time. Let's see if they get through safely. There you go. Barnes moves across, takes the inside running, so there's no problem there at the front. Let's have a look at the rest of the field as they file through Doohan Corner and head to Southern Loop for the first time. Everybody through safely, so that's a relief for all concerned. As we hop back into the car with Tom Shaw once again, heading up around the back of the circuit up towards Stoner Curve and up towards the hairpin formerly known as Honda. This is of course a very good braking area, great passing spot here at Phillip Island. And there you can see Barnes has run wide and Shaw is coming up the inside now. Looks across, you can see him looking across to see if he can move across and get the inside running into Siberia, but I don't think he can. He's not quite far enough in front, and Barnes is going to keep that lead. That's Matthew Chick in third position, and then just ahead of Jack Penachia as the field comes flying through Siberia, a very windy Siberia for the first time. Around past the hay shed they go. It's still Barnes just in front of Shaw. Then comes the green car of Matthew Crick as they head over Lukey Heights and down into MG. Shaw right behind the leader now in Barnes. But Barnes is going to lead them around the first time and he'll take the honours for the first lap here in the RX8 Cup. They head onto that magnificent main straight, the Gardner Straight, here at Phillip Island. Of course, Phillip Island, very much a motorcycle circuit, hence the naming of the corners, but you can see Shaw trying to find a way around the outside now of Barnes, and that's a similar position that Barnes made on him, and he's got past. He's made it past quite easily, really, so use the slipstream well, and Tom Shaw is now in the lead. And a bit of a sideways movement there by Barnes, and he's managed to get it back together again. Actually hasn't lost all that much time. But that would have had his heart in his mouth, certainly had mine. But he's still right on the tail of Shaw now. But that has allowed Chick to catch up just a little bit. But a really good catch there, a great save by Barnes, who now goes very deep under brakes, trying to get back onto the back onto the tail again from Chick, and also coming in is Penachia. He's closing in third place as well. So the first four, not a lot between them as they head round Siberia once again. We're on board now with Aidan Riley as he's fighting with Lachlan O'Hara, and O'Hara went underneath the car of Riley then as they head towards Siberia. Looks for a way around the outside now. He'll cut across and try and get the undercut, but looks like O'Hara is comfortably in front now and has enough of a gap to keep in control as they head round the back of the circuit. Right-hand sweeper at Hayshed, and now we're heading over the top, and you can see how very, very loose they get over the top of Lukey Heights, and now heading down into MG corner, and once again the undercut is going to be tried. Here you go, Riley going under O'Hara. O'Hara's run wide, and it looks like Riley's passed. So Riley's got that position back. So some good clean racing there from both drivers, and that's obviously what you like to see, as the man in front now with absolutely nothing in front of him but racetrack and Cape Barren geese perhaps, is Tom Shaw. This battle for second place continues between Barnes, Chick and Penachia. Barnes continuing out in front, but Chick right on his tail now, and Penachia also right in this as well. They head towards the hairpin once again. Let's see who can be the bravest under brakes as they go into the hairpin. Everybody fairly even there. Oh no, it looks like Barnes has run wide there, and Chick has gone through. So Chick has taken second place from Barnes. He cuts across to just get in front of Penachia. So Chick is now into second, ahead of Barnes and Penachia in fourth place. Now, what can Barnes do about this? Can he come back on Chick? And what does he do about Penachia, who's looking very racy at the moment? O'Hara's in fourth place at the moment, followed by Aidan Riley. Then Terry Lewis, Shannon McLean, Jackson Noakes, who's coming under pressure from Jake Lauer, Andrew O'Keefe, Ben Shaw. We've got Luke Webber in the 26 car, Elliot Maloof, Tom Duncan, Miles Briggiulio, then Jerome Niebecki and the very striking number 6 car of Stacey Vickers. You can see that car coming through now. And as we come back to the run into Siberia, we see there's been another change of position for second place again. We're going to find out what happens when we return right after this break. You're watching the RX8 Cup from Phillip Island here on In Pit Lane. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Get the phone ringing for your business with website development and SEO services from Online Invent. Visit onlineinvent.com.au.
We're going to return you to Phillip Island in just a moment for the rest of that fabulous race in the RX8 Cup. But just a reminder that coming up this Thursday at the new time of 9 p.m, our old show time on Channel 31, is the return of Full Course Yellow. It's our live weekly discussion on all things motorsport, and we just sort of get together and we have a chat about the week's action, the week's incidents, and all of the news coming out over the weekend of motorsport. Lots to talk about, of course, with Scotty McLaughlin and Matthew Brabham, the Formula One testing, a whole lot more. We'd love you to join us. That's live on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel every Thursday night. We call it Full Course Yellow. Hope you'll join us then. But right now, let's take you back to the action from the RX8 Cup at fabulous Phillip Island. Well, cars were out of sight. We've only got the 3 cameras on board. One of them, this particular camera here, is locked off, so not exactly sure what's happened there, but there's obviously been a mistake made somewhere along the way, and that's Shannon McLean going slowly. Going very slowly, and yes, not looking good, limping back to the pits, I take it. And no, McLean is out. I think McLean is a DNF, so Shannon McLean is out. Very unusual. Obviously, these cars not widely modified, very reliable, very inexpensive to run. Inexpensive, of course, is a relative term, but there you can see Noakes now under pressure from Lauer. The rest of the field come through the sweeper and heading onto the Gardner Straight once again. As they go through doing corner once again, and the Penachia is making a challenge. He's run wide. He was making a challenge on Barnes, but he ran wide, so he didn't make it. Now he's running wide again, going off the other side now. So that's going to bring Matthew Chick back into contention now for third place and give a bit of a break now to Barnes, who's now got a good lead on Penachia, who's now got to worry about the challenge from Matthew Chick, who's going in very deep under brakes here as they head into a Honda corner. And there's Riley and O'Hara battling in the background once again. You can see that That's Riley going underneath O'Hara. Yes, and Riley takes that position. So Riley has moved in ahead of O'Hara as they head over towards the hay shed once again. And if you look on the left, you see the ubiquitous Cape Barren geese. How on earth more of these birds haven't been whacked over the years? We've seen seagulls, we've seen all sorts of things, hares, all sorts of wildlife here at Phillip Island, but they have been involved in a few accidents. There was a very big one a few years ago involving one of the Group N Mustangs, which just saw a lot of damage to that car at about this position, actually, sweeping onto the main straight. And a couple of the Cape Barren geese decided to take flight and straight into the path of a Mustang, which didn't end well for all concerned. And we're on our last lap as Shaw heads towards Siberia for the final time in this race. There you are, see him in front there, and I think that's Macy Place there, and then comes our second place man in Justin Barnes, and then quite a gap now to Chick, then Penachia. Barnes now looming up on the back of Place, and we'll be putting a lap on Place as they head up around the outside as he goes around the outside there at the hay shed and up towards Lukey Heights. But the man in front, in total control, started from pole position, lost the start just for a brief moment, retook the lead on the second lap going into the end of the main straight, going into Doohan Corner, and from then on has been totally dominant and will ride towards the checkered flag with Tom Shaw, who will take out the opening round of the RX8 Cup for 2022. And yes, he's obviously very, very happy as they head across the line now. Relatively incident-free race. Only the one DNF that I could see. So let's have a look at the results now. Tom Shaw was your winner ahead of Justin Barnes, then Matthew Chick, Jack Penachia. Aidan Riley came out on top of the battle against Lachlan O'Hara for 5th. Then comes Terry Lewis, Jake Lauer, Jackson Noakes, and rounding out our top 10, Luke Webber. Hope you enjoyed the Mazda RX8 Cup, and if you'd like to catch up with more action from the RX8 Cup, plus all the action from the Super Sprint at Phillip Island a couple of weeks ago, then remember to like and subscribe to the In Pit Lane YouTube channel. And if you'd like to see more from the RX8 Cup, remember you can see extended highlights of that race and, of course, other races from the weekend, including the Victorian Supercar Championship and the Phillip Island Super Sprint, and lots of XLs on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel. Just like and subscribe, and remember to click the notification bell. That way, whenever we upload a new race or new feature or a new program, you'll be informed about it, and you can go over and have a look at it. But that's all that we have time for this weekend. It has been a busy first up week here on the program. We'll be back in the studio for the first time in 2 years next week, where we'll be previewing the big Phillip Island Historic Classic, and we'll have some great live music from our special musical guest Bianca Shembry. That's coming up next week right here on In Pit Lane on Channel 31 CTV+, and of course the In Pit Lane YouTube channel. So until we see you then, from all of us on In Pit Lane, thanks for joining us, and bye for now. In Pit Lane, proudly brought to you by Online Invent, websites, digital marketing, and custom software.